No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Wrealm presents Break It Down with Brian H. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. We are on the heels of WrestleMania 35 and a historic event as we saw a brand new champion crowned not once, not twice, not three times, so many times. But before we go, let's get into our top rope this week.
Going up to the top rope.
It's time for this week's top rope segment of the week. All right, top rope this week. What did you think it was going to be? I mean, you may have tuned into Wrestling for the Culture already, so you should have an idea. It's Kofi Kingston becoming the new WWE champion, which makes him an official Grand Slam champion. Grand Slam. We'll call it Grand Slam. Raw Tag Team Champion, SmackDown Tag Team Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion. Yes, he had the black, the red, and the blue belts. World Tag Team Champion, U.S. Champion, Intercontinental Champion, and finally, he is the new WWE Champion, getting it done against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Wow, what a moment. So, you didn't tune in to Wrestling for the Culture. You heard me say, this is what I'll say. This was a moment for everybody, not just the people of color. Obviously, huge moment for people that look like me. That was the thing. Someone like me. That was the theme. Kofi would stand up to Vince McMahon, and it was great. It was beautiful. But what I saw was people who not just the black people, but I saw white people. I saw Hispanics. I saw Asians all come together, just happy that Kofi Kingston, because he was a guy who worked hard. And maybe some of those people had some trials and tribulations. Maybe they was always told they wasn't good enough. Or perhaps they was also told, like, you're just a B-plus player. One of the things I like was Big E said he's an A-plus player with extra credit during the SmackDown celebration. So, Kofi won, and then they had this match on Raw, right? So Kofi comes out, he's going to challenge Seth Rollins. And oh my goodness, I'm getting nervous. Like, no, you got to be kidding me. You're not going to do this. Shout out to my boy Terrence, as you can follow him at TW Talking About. He was on the show last week. We did a very special, The Rise of Kofi Kingston. But one of the things he tweeted was, look, I prayed for Kofi to get the title just in one night, but I didn't think God was going to do it. But then the bar came out during the match. It was a winner-take-all, Kofi versus Seth. But the bar came out. Woo! Never been so happy to see him. I was very critical. I did not like this team when they first started. But, man, I was so happy they was a team last night. That got us to SmackDown. We saw a celebration where, Big E and Xavier would just show their appreciation for Kofi Kingston. And then, all of a sudden, here comes the bar. And the bar doing bar things, which they decided, look, we're here, and let's have a 6-man tag, and they brought in Drew McIntyre, and that's where we would go from there. We all know next week is the shakeup. What I saw, a lot of tag team matches. Say, look, they just got to get through this weekend. I know the people in Brooklyn. Shout out to everybody who did all 80 shows, all the WWE shows. I know you guys are tired. Can't wait to get back home and get some rest. Please get home safely. But nonetheless, it was what a weekend. Like I said, the weekend was surrounded by Kofi Kingston. Was he going to do it? Everybody's clinging. Will we get the opportunity? And of course, when you look back at it, hindsight being 2020, it's like, yeah, we knew Kofi was going to win because they put all this time and effort and they invested so much. But you can never be so sure. So let's move on. We also crowned a new champion, the man. Becky Lynch is your new Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Now, I really hope that Becky defends both titles and maybe loses one. I want to see a scenario where she'll defend on, let's say, a Money in the Bank, right? somebody cash in, but they can only choose one title. That's what I would like to see. Or maybe she even has 2 matches. She's defending the Raw title against, let's just say, Alexa Bliss, and the SmackDown title against Charlotte, something, or Asuka. I hope they do something like that. It would be really cool. I just don't want to see like these titles merged. I really hope they don't do that. But shout out to her. Here's what I'll say. To me, Becky Lynch isn't getting her just due. She won the title in the main event. This is the moment we all want. But then I'm just seeing her on TV with the stuff with Lacey Evans. There hasn't been that epic celebration. I know she's been a champion before, but to me, we saw Seth open Raw, we saw a New Day open SmackDown, both well deserved. But Becky could have opened up a segment, like really had that full throttle celebration, the whole 9. And if it was, I missed it, which not impossible. But I put it like this: there's nothing memorable. So, nonetheless, she got it done. She is the champion. I know there's a lot of talk about whether or not it was supposed to happen. They're saying Becky was not supposed to pin Ronda. Guess what? I'm glad she did. Why? Because Ronda's went down to the ground. 1, 2, 3. It only made sense. So, like I said, I'm happy Becky was able to get it done. I'm glad. I'm gonna go back and watch the match. When I was watching it natively, I was tired. I mean, it'd been up all day, and that's the thing. It was unfortunate. Something's got to happen. We got to get away from these 8-hour WrestleManias. It's not the same. It's not doing anybody injustice. This is where you see the main event is the death slot because everybody's that crowd. They've been there all day, and let's be real. Kofi and Daniel Bryan sucked the life out of MetLife Stadium the same way Hogan and Rock sucked the life out of the Toronto Sky Dome. Facts. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm glad they wasn't the main event. Maybe the crowd would have built. But then again, maybe they wouldn't have because they would have probably been tired. So, there's that. Congratulations to the Iconics. New WWE Raw and SmackDown, actually. Women's Tag Team Champions. Well deserved. That was a shock for me. Didn't think they was going to win. I thought Bayley and Sasha, we was all kind of hoping Bayley and Sasha win, and somehow they was going to come down at the end, and Becky, Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte was going to all have their hands up. But it didn't happen. But the Iconics got it done. That's a great tag team. I enjoyed watching them wrestle. I want to see what happens. There's reports that Sasha Banks was supposed to be on the Wendy Williams show. However, she didn't. She canceled at the last minute. Then there's reports that Sasha left early, that she had a meltdown backstage. So, could be some mental health issues. Mental health is not anything to play with. I tell people that all the time. It's not nothing to play with. You never know what somebody's going through. So, definitely wishing for the best for her. Hopefully, she can get the help that she needs if that's the case. Or maybe she just needs a break. We saw Lars Sullivan, who deals with anxiety. He's back. So, it's good to see him. Unfortunately, he beat up Kurt Angle. But I guess that's what you're supposed to do, right? And then he came out on SmackDown. So let me just see what happens with him. I've never been a fan. Don't really care for his look. And, I'll get past that. I can't stand when God don't wear knee pads. Come on now. Put some knee pads on. I don't get it. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and take my first break. I got a word from Renee Washington. It was just on her show. Here's Renee.
What's up, everyone? Renee Washington here, host of the Sports Wrap. And this week, Brian Waters joined me on my show to recap all the excitement around WrestleMania. You can follow me on Twitter at Renee P. Wash for the latest episodes. And right now, you're listening to Break It Down with Brian H., brought to you by the Wrestling Wrealm. So let's get back to the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So make sure you check out Renee Washington's show, The Sports Wrap, where you can find it on the Barn Burner Network. Make sure, we just talked breaking news. If you're NBA fans, Magic Johnson Magic Johnson. I'm a Lakers fan, so yeah, Magic Johnson is out of the Los Angeles Lakers as their president. So I'll be interested to hear her take as I was getting off the show so we could talk WrestleMania, and then had to come in here. So let's move on. Tapped out this week.
Here's our Tapped Out segment of the week.
Alright, so tapped out this week. Monday Night Raw. A Raw after Mania in New Jersey, or I should say in the Barclays Center. It did not come nowhere near the same level as it did in 2013. I mean, 2013, we had Dolph Ziggler cashing in. We had the fans just chanting for Fandango. Fandango was over that night. Unfortunately, he would never go back to the same heights. But come on, man. I mean, the show was lackluster. Now, WWE, I see what you did there. Get those ratings up. You gave us Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston, winner take all. Because you knew everybody was going to tune in. And then just when it got to about 10:50, it changed. No longer was that the match, because that's when the bar ran in. But yeah, that's my tapped out. Monday Night Raw just didn't feel like a Raw after Mania. Glad I did watch the movie with my wife, so I wouldn't be in the doghouse, to say the least. So, Seth Rollins, man. So he's your new Universal Champion. I have to say the match against Brock Lesnar was interesting. I love the fact that Brock and Seth opened the show just because it made sense. Brock Lesnar, if I'm not going to be in the main event, I'm not going to stick around. Sure, Brock has been, since he's been back, he hasn't always been in the main event, but as a Universal Champion, he's been in the main event. People say, well, he wasn't in the main event with Punk or Triple H or matches like that. But this made so much sense. It was so Brock Lesnar-esque. Actually, the greatest Royal Rumble, he wasn't in there either. But, I mean, he wasn't going to leave because it wasn't like he was going to be able to get in a plane and go right to Vegas. It's going to take a while. But this made sense. I'm glad Seth Rollins is the champ. We'll see where he goes from here. The shakeup is going to change everything. Next week is like the real reset. We like to say WrestleMania is like the climax, and then you get that big reset, and that's where it is. Next week, the big reset happens when they do the superstar shakeup. So I want to see where's Seth Rollins going to go. I mean, I'm expecting Rollins and Kofi Kingston to stay where they at. But where is could Brock Lesnar be drafted? Let's be real. I hope he's not, because then if he comes to SmackDown, oh boy, we already know what that means. But where's a guy like Lars Sullivan going to end up? Where's Drew McIntyre going to end up? McIntyre's the guy I say should be the next Universal Champion. What about Bobby Lashley? How about Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship? That would be a good match. But we'll see. Let's move on. We got new tag team champions. As just happened on SmackDown this past Tuesday, as the Hardy Boyz defeated the Usos. Now, this is a match everybody wanted to happen at WrestleMania. Now, here's my theory, and obviously I'm not a booker. I don't know these guys, but maybe this is what happened. Perhaps the Hardys said, look, we've had WrestleMania moment after WrestleMania moment. Let a guy like Shinsuke and Rusev, Aleister Black and Ricochet in the bar, let them get on the show. Our match is going to get lost in the shuffle anyway. But it would have been good to see that match at WrestleMania. I mean, it's a WrestleMania-worthy match without a doubt. But hey, if you're a Hardys fan, it's a great way to close out the weekend. Me, I was not happy with the results at all. I've said it before, the Usos have become my favorite tag team of all time. Yes, I was a huge Hart Foundation fan. I think the Steiner brothers are the #1 tag team in history of tag team wrestling. Yes, I'm putting them over the Legion of Doom. I'm in the very minority of that. But I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be the Usos. As great as Rikishi was, like Bruce Pritchard said, his biggest contribution to the business is the Usos. And I'm pretty sure he'll be fine with that. But I would like to see this rematch. It's cool. The Hardys, one last hurrah. What's this? 8 times, 9 times tag team champions. The fact is that now is the first time holding a blue belt, so, but come on now. I would have liked to see the Usos get the rub right there. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But there's that. So let's move on, man. How about Batista and Triple H? Did you enjoy that match? I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't one of my favorite matches at all this past WrestleMania. And it was a good match. It was too long. It was the longest match on the card. And if you thought Kofi and Daniel Bryan sucked the life out of the building, Triple H and Batista, to me, put people to sleep. So, I just think it was an extremely long match. But I have to say, Triple H are now the Hall of Famer Triple H. As his in-ring career was extended while Batista officially retired, the Hall of Fame ceremony was phenomenal. Shout out to D-Generation X going into the Hall of Fame. It was amazing to see them just be them, breaking all the rules. Not your traditional Hall of Fame speeches. Obviously, Triple H took shots at AEW. The gloves came off. I'm going to watch the speech again. That's how good it was. It was just that much entertainment. Also, the Hall of Fame, unfortunately, Bret the Hitman Hart was attacked by some fan who wanted to reenact The Simpsons. Thought there's no place for that. And congratulations, buddy. You've been banned from WWE events and the Barclays Center. So, hope it was worth it. And then, what else? Shout out to see my boy Brutus the Barber Beefcake go in. Very happy for him. This is a guy who had a parasailing accident. And if you saw the way his face looked, you'd be like, wow. His face was broken. It was just all sucked in. It's amazing how he even lived, let alone wrestled after that. But congratulations to him. One of my all-time favorites. Guy, if you got WrestleMania Challenge on regular NES, he's on there. They got his music and the 8-bit sound. Sounds really cool. And of course, the immortal Hulk Hogan inducted him. And Hogan, big surprise at WrestleMania. Finally, Hogan is back. First time appearing since WrestleMania 31. First time speaking since WrestleMania 30.
What's up, good people? My name is Michelle Ramos, host of your favorite sports podcast, Roaming the Airwaves, Rolling with Ramos, and you're listening to Break It Down by Brian H. Waters, brought to you by The Wrestling Wrealm.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. So, we are going in. So, before I get to From the Realm this week, I want to let me know what you guys thought about some of the other shows that you attended this past WrestleMania weekend. I know there's a lot of shows, some funny stuff I saw on the internet, some interesting things. I won't even give it the justification of talking about it. You probably know what I'm talking about. It was just something that was like, okay, I don't think that's wrestling. But New Japan Ring of Honor G1 Supercard was a phenomenal show. I got to see the middle of it. Didn't get to see the last two matches, the main important matches yet. I didn't want to rush and watch it before the show, but shout out to Okada once again, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Shout out to Matt Taven, the new Ring of Honor World Champion. Shout out to the Gorillas of Destiny becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion and retaining the IWGP Tag Team Championship. So it was funny that Tama Tonga just tossed the Ring of Honor belt. But history was made. First time a WWE show first time there was a wrestling show at Madison Square Garden that was not the WWE. So history was made this past Saturday in Brooklyn. Manhattan. Woo, I'm all over the place. So, how about NXT TakeOver? Amazing. You could catch my thoughts on my TakeOver post show. There was going to be a WrestleMania post show. I had it recorded. Shout out to Blake and Dwayne, who was right beside me. But for some reason, the audio corrupted. So, unfortunately, you guys didn't get that. I apologize. It was the worst. So, I hate when that happens.
And now, for our From the Realm segment, where I answer your questions from the Facebook fan page, the Facebook group page, and the Twitter at Wrestling Realm.
From the Realm this week, question comes from my boy, Antonio Banks. Shout out to Banks, always a true friend, always been a listener since the beginning. Like I said, you guys, man, if you're in the wrestling realm, you know him very well as far as his wrestling side, his wrestling opinions. He's a straight shooter, tell it like it is, and has interesting scenarios. His question this week is, since SmackDown next year will be at the beginning of Mania weekend, how would you book it? So for me, the go home show will be, right, that'll kind of the way I would do it. The go home show would be in Vegas, but then I would see if Fox would grant me the permission to do a show on Tuesday live, so I could have SmackDown on Friday. Oh wow, I just thought about that. Wait, you're gonna have SmackDown on Friday, then you got Hall of Fame and NXT. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, so I think what you do at this point, you either move Hall of Fame to Tuesday, but then that takes away, because it's like having the dunk contest before the Super Bowl. The NBA All-Star game. So I think you see if you could get 2 Tuesdays. You get the Tuesday before you go to Mania. See if you can get a Tuesday SmackDown, because before it was taped. Actually, you know what? Bingo. So it will be taped again. So you'll have SmackDown on Tuesday live, then you'll have the Hall of Fame or a Takeover, whichever way they're going to do it, and then you'll have WrestleMania, Raw, then SmackDown. So yeah, SmackDown will still be taped on Tuesdays, to my understanding, which really sucks. Fox is going to get a tape show, and then maybe they won't, but I think in this case, that's what you got to do in order to make it flow smoothly. See, that's the thing about Banks. Love you, brother. You coming up with the right questions. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. So that's going to be interesting. I want to see how they're going to do that, especially in Tampa. Are they going to either, move SmackDown to the end or move it to the beginning? So we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap this week. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast each and every week. You can follow me at Brian H. Waters. Make sure you follow the real Dwayne Allen at Dwayne Allen 24. Make sure you are following the Wrestling Realm at Wrestling Realm on all social media platforms. You can get us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. What else? We're on Breaker, Overcast FM. We're all over the place. Go to Anchor. That's the best place to do. Go to Anchor. You can listen to it right at your desk if for some reason you don't have iTunes on your workstation, or if you don't have Google Podcasts on your workstation, or if you don't have an Android or iPhone. That's where Spotify and Anchor comes into play. And Anchor, if you feel the need, you feel it like you want to bless us, go ahead and send a donation, and we will greatly appreciate it. So, till the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody. Hey, guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe down low, and check out all the other stuff brought to you by the Wrestling Realm.